I'm at the Aerospace Museum of California out at McClellan Park, where for the next several months you'll be able to go from the more modern devices for flight to something thought of back in the Renaissance days. It's the Leonardo da Vinci Machines in Motion exhibit. Many of these created long before some of the things we use today, but that are similar devices, like this particular design, which had a flotation device and a sort of a fin hand to swim, the Archimedes screw there that helps move water, this bridge, which is created essentially the same way as Lincoln logs, with interlocking pieces of wood that can be put together quickly, taken apart, and moved along with you. A lot of the Da Vinci devices use turning gears to move things, and in this particular case, this one was could be used, this paddle wheel here could be used on water, and it would actually saw boards out of logs. This is Da Vinci's design for a bicycle. You'll notice the chain drive on the back wheel. If that looks familiar, we still use it today. This one here, the other thing too, a lot of these are devices to make jobs easier. This particular one uses gears and screws to help lift heavy pillars. Now, Da Vinci was left-handed, so when he wrote backwards. And one of the exhibits, a lot of these hands-on for kids, take these cards here with the backwards writing, and then you can either hold them up to the mirror or look through the back, and you can see what's on them. Now, some of these things Da Vinci came up with himself. Others he was commissioned to do. Like this one over here, it looks like a standard suit of armor, but when you come up to it, you'll see here in a moment, it's an early robot. And the opening of the front panel is not all it does. They're calling it the Armor-Clad C-3po, and you'll notice on the base of the device there's a motion sensor, and that's what triggers this device to move. Now, Da Vinci was also big on flight. He created this glider and also a pedal-driven device you can see in the far corner over there that has wings flapping. But there were also times when Da Vinci was asked to create implements of war. This one, an early cannon that can be moved up and down and obviously turned side to side to aim it. And this one is pretty incredible. This here is actually a tank. The design is based on a turtle shell, and it could be pulled by horses or by people, but rather than having them on the outside and vulnerable, the works here are on the inside, and those wheels can be turned, and that rolls the big wheels and helps move the thing along. Da Vinci also created some more simple devices here, like this one over here. The idea of using ball bearings before anyone else did to help with ease of motion. Another one of his flight devices, called an Ornithopter, or a flapping bird. It's hand-driven, but it's an early predecessor of the helicopter. And then, of course, back to the water. Da Vinci also had designs for this plan to walk on water. Didn't quite work out when it was tested here in the modern day, but he at least gave it the old college try, as we would say. And we are with Roxanne Yan, the director of the Aerospace Museum of California out here at McClellan Park. Roxanne, tell me a little bit about how this exhibit came together.
We always are looking for something to bring to the community and also to the museum to enhance what we have here. And we've been eyeballing this one, and their window opened up and we were able to get it. It was exhibited for a year at the Connecticut Science Center, and there was a window for us to get it before it went to the George Bush Museum in Texas. So we took it, and we've been planning for the last year to have this come here. It's never been in California before.
How about the origin of the exhibit itself? I understand it was created by artisans in Italy.
That's right, in the University of Italy. They took his codices and created these 40 machines that have to do with motion.
Wonderful. Now, you had mentioned that it's broken down into 4 parts: earth, air, fire, and water.
Correct.
Can you give us just a general sense of some of the things that help make that breakdown?
Well, what he did was he was fascinated with the elements, and so he would always be studying all 4 elements, and he created, and sometimes he was contracted, so to speak, to do these elements, some kind of machinery. So in water we have a bridge, we have a design of potentially trying to walk on water, or fins with a life preserver. Also using water to make life easier by making machines work better using the power of water. In earth, that has to do with, there's an olive press. There is ways to move tall pillars, 200 foot, bring them up straight up without having multiple men and ropes and things to do it. It's a machine that would do it, and ways to move objects around. And then with the air, and actually, which is what we do here, is winged gliders, ornithopters, different things to try to get man to fly. Fire, although he was considered someone who really didn't support the warring and things like that. You have to live, you have to eat. So he was contracted several times to create something. One was a tank. He did that with a shell, turtle shell. And what he did was he created this turtle-looking shell, and he did not want people to be hurt or animals, so inside you move it by moving it inside the wheels. And then there's some armature in there too, so yeah, you could shoot your cannons as well. I don't know if he actually did it or how it worked, but it's pretty creative, and guests can get inside.
Oh, you know, the thing that amazes me about some of these devices, and most of them really, is that they were sort of ahead of their time, like the ball bearings over here. I don't know that anybody had thought of that before Da Vinci came up with the idea.
Well, the idea was he lived mostly through the 14th, mid-late 14th century to early 1500s. So if you think in the 14 or 1500s, this type of thought process, albeit they didn't have radio or TV, so they were able to, focus on things like this. But we also have the idea that he took certain common things and created machines with them. So, they knew the wheel, they knew the gear, but how can you make it work? Pulleys. Making machines with the pulleys was something current, and making that work. So that's something that is pretty fascinating. A printing press, yeah, Gutenberg invented the printing press about 40 years before, but he enhanced it, he improved it, and that's what invention and design and things like that is all about.
Indeed. Now, the other thing you were telling me was that, like with this example here, the glider here, you left a newer glider up.
Correct.
To compare. When you look at the two of these, what do you see in terms of, how similar the designs are, or where Da Vinci might have been on the right track?
Well, what he did was he really studied birds and flight. And his is a little more shaped like a bird's wings, but if you look at the structure underneath and how someone would hang from it, it's pretty similar.
All right, so let's say folks want to come out here and check it out. What do they do?
We are open 7 days a week now. We're open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday, and 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday. And this exhibit is here until September 4th. I would check our website, aerospaceca.org, because we're going to have some other special events during the time of this exhibit. April 8th, we're having an open cockpit, so a lot of our planes outside will be open, and you'll get to enjoy the entire exhibit as well.
And I understand it's day one today, and
Day one is today.
It's already popular.
We have people here, yes.
And thousands already signed up for school tours and others.
It's a great education tool. We have, because it is so hands-on, and we have teacher packets for teachers. We have nearly 5,000 students already signed up to come. The first one's tomorrow.
Oh, that is unreal.
Actually, we did, though, I will say we previewed a few kids last week to go, maybe we don't want to do this, or we'll take the kids and do that. So we actually did use some classes to kind of test run the exhibit. But yes, we start tomorrow with school tours, and we are welcome to have groups come as well. So whatever organization wants to just experience Da Vinci, we do have tours and group rates as well. So it's a great experience, I think, and I know myself and the staff have been making things work here as well. So it's pretty fascinating to see what his thinking process was, and just thinking of the times and what he did.
Well, and I would imagine some of the hands-on stuff like this mechanized hammer here would be great for the kids, wouldn't it?
Well, what he did with this one was he saw blacksmiths were really working hard, and he thought maybe with a device like this, it would be a lot easier on them to do something in this fashion to make it work versus, and that's what he did. He tried to do labor-saving devices even back then. So that's what some of these are here, is things to make work easier.
All right. Roxanne Yan, Director of the Aerospace Museum of California. Thanks for taking a few minutes.
You.
We appreciate it.